Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rewatch Talk Live, the Sundays of Scares, an October edition. We're your hosts, Richard, and
Jay,
the stormy night of October 30th, 2022, did not keep audiences in the United States from entering the frightening theaters to eyeball the movie Smile. Smile is an American psychological supernatural horror film written and directed by Parker Finn. This is his feature directorial debut based on his 2020 short film Laura Hasn't Slept. The film stars Sosie Bacon, the daughter of Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick, as the therapist named Rose Cotter, who, after witnessing a bizarre suicide of a patient, goes through increasingly disturbing and daunting experiences, leading her to believe that she is experiencing the supernatural. It also stars Jesse T. Usher, Kyle Gallner, Cal Penn, and Rob Morgan, as well as Caitlin Stacy playing the same character, Laura Weaver, she played in the short film. The budget for Smile, 17 million. Box office, 217 million. Quite a profit there. Now, a few notes before we begin. Rewatch Talk Live is a weekly podcast. RTL will entice the viewers with our discussions and views as we rewind movies and stream shows. Jay and I are dedicated to our rewatches, and we do more than a deep dive. We go balls deep into each entertainment we explore. Okay, Jay, start the spookiness.
thank you, Richard, for that intro and give a synopsis of the movie Smile. And first, I want to say hello to Loth Cat. Thank you for coming out and experience the rewatch of Smile, which is a really good. It was a great flick that came out in 2022, as Richard stated, and it was it was really entertaining. It was definitely. I was looking forward to watching it big time because a lot of promotion was done a little differently with this movie compared to other movies where you see like trailers and things of that nature. But for this movie, what they did was a little different, which Rich was really a good idea, and I thought. Um, what they did is they actually shared experiences of people at baseball games. At some baseball games out all over the place, they had actors come into the baseball games and stand behind the plate and have a really weird smile on the face through the whole game. And with that, some of them had the word smile on the t-shirt. Seeing that would really kind of make you kind of puzzled and say, what the heck is going on? What is this? And then you find out it was all a promotion for the flick, the 2022 flick Smile. Was that somewhat surprising to you when you noticed that, Richard?
Well, I didn't notice it, but I read it. And so them standing behind home plate and smiling and doing all that, I guess, was one way to promote the movie. But it's still to me, it's still a hit and miss because you don't know if all the people doing baseball are horror fans. But it was interesting that they chose to go that route. I'm sure they did. Then they also do some kind of trailers too as well. But yeah, but that still gets people talking about it. What's this Smile thing about, right, Jay?
Exactly, exactly. It really made your interest come out and want to really want to see this movie and check it out. And from that, from the start of this movie, they normally what they have. Some movies are different, but this one I would call it Coldplay, where it just comes off just off the rails. Just seeing a lady coming out sleeping, and while she was sleeping, or looks like she was sick, and then you can just hear noises and everything in the background, and the how the camera turned, and then from there you can see from there it pops up in the reality where we see the main character Rose, Dr. Rose, where she was she's a therapist that that handles psychotherapy for people that has some type of different types of issues that they need to get help in and monitor, and that's what Dr. Rose was doing. And from there we can kind of go and see some different things that's happened with Dr. Rose. Like she had a very long day. Looked like she was gonna get ready to leave and kind of depart because the head doctor there was kind of telling her, "You've been here for so long, you need to get some rest." But because she's just a hard worker, she just couldn't leave couldn't leave the job, and she decided to actually come and actually pick up the telephone. And from the telephone, she picks it up and finds out there's a patient that needs some assistance. And with that, the patient that she was wanting to talk to was Laura. Laura was the patient, and she came and talked to Dr. Rose, stating that she's been seeing some type of demonic things behind her. I mean, she having terrible dreams, all these things, and one thing that she's seen all these people had was a weird smile on their face, not like a really friendly smile, but really a really weird type of smile. And she was saying this, and Dr. Rose was trying to actually help and assist on trying to see what's going on, give her questions and things that way. But the thing was that Rose didn't know what was going on. Didn't know what was going on. So she was trying to tell her, but Laura was kind of weirded out. And from there, the next part comes out where she actually gets kind of demonic and getting crazy and don't know what's going on. And Dr. Rose pushed the button for assistance. And from there, we see that Laura just stands there with a really weird smile on her face, looking straight at Rose with a some type of something that broke was from the vase that broke, and she had it in her hand. And from there, the spooky smile face with the smile on her face, she started cutting her face off and committed suicide right in front of Rose, which was really scary. So what when you saw that, Richard, and when you watched that part of the episode, what did you think?
That was pretty freaky. That was really freaky, and it was something different. You know, it was. I mean, it just started right off hitting you over the head with the spooky stuff. There was no leading up to anything, was there, Jay? I mean, you just started out with, we're going to cut off this woman's face. She's going to kill herself, and we're going to get down to it.
Exactly. Exactly. It just really started off with a bang. That's one thing the whole movie did was start off with a bang. And one thing about this movie, it went almost 13 minutes in from this, and they didn't even show the title of the movie. And finally, at 13 minutes, then they showed the title of the movie, which was Smile. So it's kind of really starting off really quickly. It's like we're just getting our stuff in order to kind of find out what is going on with this situation with Rose, and this what happened after she saw this woman commit suicide in front of her.
Exactly. And so So I guess, she's dead, and then, we just Rose, there, and Rose is seeing patients, right?
Yes, she continues seeing patients, and one thing after this happened to her, the cops came up to her and kind of gave her some questions to find out what was going on with this, and kind of seeing the patient Laura, or was there any foul play or anything like that. And from there we get to the part where we see Rose going home and kind of just puzzled and just not. I mean, with the situation that happened, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I would be puzzled myself. I mean, she went and got her little wine in the refrigerator to try to relax and things of that nature, and she just kind of tried to not worry about it. And then one thing about this movie with this is very, they had really good cinematography with it, and also there were some like little noises and things like that that kind of made you startle, and that's was great about this movie, and watching it watching it and seeing all this happen to her, because they had one scene where the alarm out of the blue, just the alarm just popped on, and she was just startled and dropped the wine glass on the floor. So it was really surprising. I don't know if when you watched that part, I mean, I'm not sure if you got started or not.
That one didn't do it. I wasn't
No,
startled by that one. I don't think anything happened to me until later on, uh, when she's in her apartment or house or whatever it is,
mhm.
and the woman shows up out of nowhere when she's on
Yeah,
the computer, and then it's like, holy crap, because that's what caught me, because you didn't expect it. Plus, it was so dark where that woman was, whoever she was seeing at the time, because she started seeing things, and then everyone she saw had that big creepy smile on their face.
every one
So,
of them, every
so
one
when
of them.
she jumped out, early on, I don't know how early it was, but and this is where this is when she first starts going nuts, or I mean, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she's like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing?" And she's trying to explain this to people, and they think she should probably be in the nut house too. So, but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I wasn't. I mean, the that didn't do it, but that did. That part there later on there, Jay did.
Yeah, yeah. And we can, I mean, one thing about because this is a somewhat of a rewatch, we can, like you mentioned before, always we can always mix around our experiences with the movie and everything. And you're absolutely right with that part that came up. That was a very startling part when
Well, yeah,
she was listening to the
yeah, but
speaker.
that was the first one, and there was another one there, and I think it was the one where she was talking at the next scene when, or after her thing with her sister at the party, her sister-in-law, whatever.
Birthday party.
Yeah, and then she comes to see him again, and she's sitting in the car, and we all think her sister is coming back to say something, but yet her head comes, off her, however, and it's like, holy shit! And once again,
Yeah,
that got me too, because I thought it was her sister. I wasn't
exactly.
expecting, that thing like that. That really, did that get you, Jay? That scene too?
It got me also, and it really was started because I didn't expect that at all. And one thing that was really a good trivia when people watch this movie, you can notice every single person that had this real smile on the face, they had bright colored clothing. Their colors were bright. It was very color pastel, bright colors, just like what you mentioned. She was wearing pink, bright. There's other scenes in the movie with the all the ones that had that weird smile on their face was all have bright colors. Even the therapist that she was met and talked to, she had white on, so it was bright white. So that was one little trivia or a little nugget that a lot of people might didn't catch when they were watching the movie in theaters, and also maybe on Prime or other places.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that. that whole thing. And uh, at the birthday party, it seems like she didn't know what she was doing because she gave that dead cat as a present to the little boy. I
Yes,
mean, this was like a little boy's birthday, and and she's like, she's all happy that he's opening up her present, and he's like, what? And then his mom comes over and pulls out this dead cat, and it's
right. It it was her cat that she had at her house. Her loving cat Mustard. That was the name of the cat, was Mustard.
was it Mustard?
Yeah,
I did not know
and
that.
she was actually, prior to that, she was actually looking for the cat at her house. She was kind of getting her food ready. Come on, Mustard, where are you? Banging the little doll, or uh, the the
Hmm.
food, to have her come, and she was not coming. I mean, so we didn't know what was going on, and we found out that something like that happened, where she unexpectedly didn't know, maybe blacked out, and put that instead of the railroad truck or railroad that she bought for the boy, because she did go to a toy store and she went in and she got something for the boy, but of course that's not what came out. It was that dead cat that came out.
Well, yeah,
And then,
you were expecting him to open up and find this railroad set, train set, yeah, train set, railroad set,
yes,
train set in this box, and it was not. It was the cat. So
the cat,
it's really
yes,
weird, because things are starting to happen for this for
Rose, Dr.
Rose,
Rose.
Dr. Rose, and you know after that patient, it seems like she's freaking out because she doesn't know what's going on,
No,
and
no,
and she tries to explain this to her fiance or boyfriend, and he's like, what, you're crazy, no one was believing her, and he wasn't believing her either, and he
no, Trevor. Yeah,
you know,
Trevor was not believing any words that was coming out of Rose's mouth. I mean, she was she was just trying really trying her best to explain it to Trevor, her boyfriend or fiance, I should say, about all the stuff that's happened to her. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy, and it was great suspense when it comes to watching a movie like this, because you really don't know what's going on. You really want to continue watching it to see what's going to happen to Rose, what's going to happen to the fiance, all the other people that's involved. But the main character, Rose, is the one we need really watching and finding out that she is going through some really crazy stuff. And the
well, yeah,
first part
the
like that,
fiance, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, and he's thinking, I mean, shouldn't I know this? I mean, we're going to be married. I should know everything, shouldn't I? And she goes, well, I didn't know how you'd react because you're a fair weather person. If I tell you this, I mean, he wasn't like, he would, what I got was the impression when he finds out something bad's going on, he just disappears for a while. So he
right?
just doesn't, but still, she did, but he still, and but that's probably why you wouldn't tell anyone, is because no one's going to believe you anyway. So, but it was getting to the point where it was always happening to her, and she had to tell someone because it wasn't going away. Like some kind of something you might think is wrong with you, and it's not going around. I gotta tell somebody. So she told him, and
And he did believe it, and he did mention something which was it's going to lead into part of the movie too, asking the question, is it hereditary, where her mom,
yeah,
Rose's mom, committed suicide also when she was a young little girl.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Trevor Trevor brought in some little bit of kind of something that maybe she didn't want to talk about or even bring up, and she got really upset with him bringing something like that up, saying that, oh, is this kind of hereditary because of your being, when you were little, you had the experience of her mom passing away. So that was kind of something to think about in with the character Rose too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so he's bringing up this kind of stuff, and she's like, "No, it's." So, and didn't something happen earlier when she was in therapy with another doctor? That other something happened there.
It was yeah, it was a therapist, or she went and talked to the therapy person just to kind of get some information. But one thing, I mean, I want to share about the rewatch of Smile, which brought in some experience of another movie, is when she was in her room, or not in her house, and all of a sudden the alarm came on again, and the glass fell again, and she was trying to turn off the alarm. And then what happened was that she turned it off, and then the alarm company comes and talks to her on the phone and asks her about the
Yeah.
code. And with that, it brought up memories of another movie called Scream.
Oh, that's right. She was seeing a patient, right? When it first happened.
No, no, it was actually when she was on the phone, and the security person got the password, and then she asked the question to Rose that are you are you are you safe? Are you alone? And then she
Yeah.
comes back, are you sure? Are you sure you're alone? It's almost like when like in Scream when you hear, do you like scary movies? But it was like on the sense of on the telephone. It was on the phone. It was kind of brought back something when I was watching that part. And what happened is she did say turn around on the phone. And it's just I love. I mean, this what made this movie so. I mean, I enjoyed it so much is when you get that suspense. It's like she's just looking and turning very slowly, and then all of a sudden, right when you think something happens, the phone ring again, and found out that she was actually dreaming for a second, not realizing that she was not really talking to the the people from the alarm company, but it was someone else. Or I should say, it was some this weird thing that's happening to her is going on and making her have these like nightmares and all these type of dreams and things like that. So it's kind of freaky when I saw that part of the of Smile.
Right. Right.
But it was kind of going on with Rose and finding out all this information. She just didn't know what to do. She was like you said, went to try the therapy person, and the therapy person was like telling her because of your experiences with your mom passing away and committing suicide, these are some things that are triggering you. It's not maybe the stuff you're seeing, it's maybe you're tired, maybe you're have worked
Right.
so long, all these things that she was asking her that maybe that's what's happening to you. Not that you're seeing things, it's just you're tired. I mean, you've been through so much at work and you need a break. And she wanted medicine. Rose wanted some medicine to kind of calm her nerves down, but the
Yeah.
therapist was like saying, "No, I don't think you need that. I think you just need some rest." So
Right.
that's what she did the first time they met.
Yeah.
I
But
know they
there's
met
that scene
again
earlier
later on.
where Rose is talking to that patient, and that's the patient. The patient he's talking to is the one from the original short film,
Laura,
Laura.
yes,
So that's the original, and that's when things kind of get going a little bit. Something happens there too. So I mean, she's having these outbursts, where different things are happening to her, and she doesn't know what to think, like you said, and then it all leads up, and it's affecting her work because she keeps
work,
seeing things.
life, everything. Yeah,
Yeah, but then then they tell her to take a leave of absence, right, Jay?
that's correct. Told her that she needs to take some time off. She did, and honestly, she really didn't need to do that because things were just happening to her, and she didn't know what to do. She was just kind of going through um, everything and kind of finding out what's going on, and then she reached out to a one of the detectives to try to find out if he can help with
Oh,
this
okay.
case.
Well,
But before that was something else.
yeah, but the detective is an old boyfriend of hers.
Correct.
It's not just some detective; it's an old boyfriend. So,
Yeah, I was going to lead into that.
oh, okay. But you said some boyfriend or some detective said, "Well, no, it's not." It's because he didn't want to help her because they were they were no longer together.
Yeah, his
Because
name is Joel.
she was trying to tell him what was going on. Yeah, because in that therapy session with Laura, that's where she first sees it take place with somebody else. He probably thinks that, well, that girl's crazy, not knowing that she's going to be the crazy one here in a little bit. Besides Laura, it's going to be her and somebody else. But yeah, because she's screaming and crawling across the floor on her back, and she has to call for help in that sessions because that Laura is just all over the place. So, and that's like a precursor to what's going to be happening to Rose. I keep wanting to call her by her real name, but that's not. But Rose.
No, Dr. Rose. Dr.
Yeah.
Rose.
Then we see that she sees that Laura has that weird smile on her face, and so everything there is setting up, what's going to be happening to Rose as this picture continues.
Exactly.
Rose is going to cut Rose. Laura, gets a piece of a thing in that office and is going to try and uncuts herself and all kinds of weird things. But that's when she cuts off her. It's weird how that just leads up to where we're going right now, because that was Laura that you were talking about who cut off her face and killed herself. I mean, that goes back to the short film, which you can watch on YouTube. Just put what Laura hasn't slept. It's a short film. I mean, it's a short film. It's like, what, 20 minutes?
11 minutes.
11 minutes? Well, that wouldn't take you long. And like I said, that's what led to him getting this big deal, I guess, to do this film, which came to Prime in 2022 somewhere, or February, or last year.
The short film was 2020.
Yeah, but the major film came to Prime in February of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't think you mentioned that before that, but the woman that cut off her face was Laura from the short film, which makes sense. I don't know, because how she would end up there at the crazy place. So, exactly. Or getting therapy anyway. But then I guess that's a good segue. You watch the short and then you see how it all comes together in that scene.
Yeah, it was a great precursor to the Smile. And another tidbit with this movie, before they called, I think the title was not going to actually be Smile, but I believe the title was going to be something with something wrong with Rose. That was actually the original title of the movie instead of Smile. So I think it was a good idea that they continue with the title Smile. It really played the part in the movie. So it was a great idea, a great decision making to change it from something wrong with Rose to Smile. So that's another little tidbit in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I believe that had to have been a working title, because there's all kinds of films called Something Wrong with Somebody. So that would have got it, that would have just clustered it in with a bunch of other films from the past. Whereas Smile, and as a horror film, it's like, why would this thing, why's it called Smile if it's a horror film?
Right.
And plus, you could promote it better because they're sitting behind home plate and they're smiling, and it says, but Smile is just like, what the fudge is going on here, So that's exactly.
It really made a really good direction. It was. But one thing after that, Laura did some research and reached out to try to find other people that was linked up to, I should say, Rose did some research to see about other people that Laura that committed suicide was connected to. And she reached out to a guy named Gabrielle and went to Gabrielle's widow and talked to her about what happened, or what happened to him, what what happened to him, what made him commit suicide, and the widow explained to to Laura, excuse me, not to Laura, but explained to Rose, excuse me, explained to Rose what was going on, and he was seeing things. He was all these weird things was happening to him. He was silent. He was just awake all the time. Sometimes then he didn't stay. He didn't sleep at all. All these different things, and then the widow mentioned something that actually triggered Rose, which was the the last thing that happened to him. He noticed a suicide also. So that made Rose think about something. Is that Gabriel, the person that died, actually went through almost the same situation that Rose did when she actually saw a suicide happen to her. So it really made her think. It's like, what is going on? What type of channels is going on with all these people that see another person commit suicide, and after they do that, then they see weird stuff happening to them. So it's um, kind of an interesting thing that happened to Rose at that point.
Right, right. So that's true. And what did you? It had a lot to do with mental health. You know,
It did. It really did.
and so I mean, it it depends. You know, trauma, PTSD, and mental disorders, and I guess it depends on the person what you take away from this film.
I agree with that. I mean, it's a lot of like things that's happening to mental health as far as observation of people and finding out what's going on and everything. So really made you think when Rose was having these situations and she didn't really know what to do, but she tried her best through this movie to find out what was happening to her, and
Yeah,
and it continued, which was the thing that started and continue her research is that she reached out to her ex-boyfriend Joel to get some help as far as trying to find out after the suicide from the other guy. She didn't know who the woman was. So that's when she reached out to her ex-boyfriend Joel to see if he could go on the computer and find out who the woman was. And Joel did help her to find out who the woman was, and then found out that woman also had the same situation to her happen, where she witnessed a person committing suicide. So it's kind of we're seeing like a little chain of things happening when it comes to um, these patients and these people. When they watch someone else commit suicide, they have some type of weird smile on their face. And one time they even showed on the surveillance camera at the gas station where one of the persons that committed suicide in front of another one just had that weird smile on her face, which Rose saw also with Laura. So it's all these things are making you really think what the heck is going on, and and the thing is that through this whole movie, we haven't even seen anybody. We just only thing we've seen is people with some weird smile on their faces all over the place, and Rose is the only one that sees it. No one else. So that's kind of makes you want to continue watching this movie and find out what's going to happen next.
right. And the part with at the gas station when they found that footage, that kind of was weird too, because the dude just walks away from his car and walks up to that person at the gas pump and shoots and just fires the gun. And then, thought he needed, then just left again. That's really weird. And that that kind of has Joel Believer then.
Yes,
Later on, after like, wait a minute, what is going on here? I mean, because they finally see the smile on the face.
Yes, had that pause for a second where you can see the pause, or Rose wanted the camera stop for a second, and you can see zoom in a little bit. You can see that little weird smile on him. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But like you said, Joel, the ex boyfriend, kind of was working on believing her, and told Rose that this pattern has happened all over the world. That's one mentioned all over the place. And then she said that there were 20 cases, but 19 victims. And that made Rose kind of wonder, you say 20 cases, it should be 20 victims. So one person is still alive. And it made Rose really want to find out, what can I do? Because if that person is alive, maybe there's a way to kind of deter this. What I guess she mentioned, a curse, and she decided to reach out to the guy at the jail cell, because he killed someone cold blooded, but Rose wanted to kind of find out what happened. How did you stay alive after 20 victims and you're 19 and you're one person that's still alive? So it's kind of a interesting discussion they had on at the jail cell.
For something that's happened all over the place, she was lucky that that survivor was in her town.
Exactly. Exactly. That is so true. Didn't think of that perspective of it, but you're right. Luckily, they had that one victim, or one person that stayed alive, was able to be around there. That's true.
So her ex-boyfriend cop got her a meeting with him at the jail, and he wasn't going to he wasn't going to say anything with the cop there, so he had to leave, and and then she's talking to him, and you know then he finds out that she has it. And he's like, oh my god, I know, I'm done with that. I don't want this again.
Right.
Even though they're separated by a piece of glass, okay, there is like a divider between these two people. It's not like they're wide open. It's like a divider. I don't know, but anyway, he was like freaking out, because he didn't think she was affected with whatever this was. But the way she was talking, he's like, "Oh my gosh, no!
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
away from me!"
Yeah. I don't want to be close to you. No, no, no. Because he mentioned to her the way that he got covered is that he killed someone else to break the chain, and that chain, when someone else witnessed it, break it. So he was kind of out of the chain of all this happening, and it continued with another person. He was out. And then, like you said earlier, when she mentioned something that about killing somebody, to him, he freaked out. Like you said, he freaked out. It's like, get away from me. You have it. You have it too. It's like, oh my God, you have it. I don't want to be around you. Get away. Get away. I don't want you to be here. So it was kind of really dramatic when that happened, when that part. And then Rose kind of just left the place and just was terrified. And didn't even share with ex-boyfriend Joel at all. Didn't tell him anything, because he was like, "What happened? What was wrong? What did he say?" "Oh, nothing. The guy just crazy. He's crazy."
Yeah,
But she was crazy also. She was going through a lot of stuff, but this made her kind of think of something that maybe can cure her from this case, or from this curse.
yeah,
And
but
that's
that
why
would
she
mean
went
she had to
back to
kill
the
somebody
hospital.
to do it.
Exactly.
So who's she going to sacrifice so she can break this curse? I mean, to me, it's like there really is no way of getting rid of it, because unless you are willing to kill someone and then go to prison yourself, or do this in a way where no one you could try to get away with it. But it just seems like she did find out a way, like you said, Jay, but I don't think she would go for that option. Do you?
I, you know, because of how things were going with her, and how you can kind of see her appearance has changed and to transform into a person that was like a doctor, and she just went through her transition from that to the level she was. I could see her doing something, and that's what she did. I mean, she was thinking it, and that's one thing about this movie was great is that she was thinking that when she got like a knife in the apartment, and she took that knife with her to the hospital where she works, and she was going to meet up with one of the patients there that she was taking care of, and she was thinking that maybe that might be the avenue of her to try to get
Hmm.
this curse off.
All right. All
But it
right.
was
There you go.
but it was actually a dream. So that's one thing about the movie. It was a dream. So it was not something that she really did, but I think she was thinking about it. She was thinking about it.
Okay. All right. So you think she may? So you think that she would have been driven to the point of where she would take that route and kill someone just to get rid of it, even though if she had, yeah, okay, I can see how that might. I can see where you're going with it. It could change everything if she has the, if she keeps going the way she's going. I see it.
Exactly. Exactly. But she felt that maybe it was not a good idea, and then she mentioned maybe just just being alone might be the best thing for her. Just not being around people. That was, I think, her after she was left the hospital. She kind of decided that, oh, okay, let me just leave, and that's when I think she went home for a little bit, try to gather herself, and I think that's when she met up with the therapist again and talked to the therapist again. When the therapist came to her house and talked to her,
Okay.
and that's when it kind of came into play where she was talking to the therapist, and the therapist was trying to explain things to her, and that's when the part that was interesting is that the phone was ringing while she was talking to the therapist, and she was just saying, "Do you think you should get that?" And then all of a sudden, she picked up the phone, and you could just see in Rose's face when she heard the therapist's voice on the phone saying, "I'm worried about you. Are you okay? What do you? I mean, I need your help." And she's actually literally, supposedly looking at the therapist and found out with that weird smile again. That was the whole thing about this movie is that the actors that played these roles, they created these weird freaking smiles, was just amazing, and you could just see it that Rose is just terrified that, oh my god, and then you heard the voice of this I guess you could say almost an entity saying, "It's almost time, Rose. It's almost time. It's getting there. It's almost time. It's almost your time is up." Because one thing is that Rose asked Joel, the ex-boyfriend, of all the people in the cases, how long was it that this the person committed suicide? And he mentioned to him sometime it was about 4 weeks, and sometime it was like not 4 weeks, 4 days, and sometime after 4 days, sometime 2 days. So it made her worry that her days are up, and that's when you can see that this entity was coming up and just went into Rose's face and screaming at her, and you can see all the slob and everything. It's almost like you can see the slob like in Aliens, when she was like right in her face, like slobbering and giving right in her face about everything, and then it just cut off. It looks like she kind of got away from that situation, and then headed somewhere, trying to be away from everyone. That's when she kind of decided that I got to get away. I mean, I can't stay here no more. I gotta not be around people. I can't be around my fiance. I can't be around my ex boyfriend. So I think that's when she decided to go back to her old mom's house.
Right, right. Her childhood home.
Yes, her childhood home where she went there, and it was really not in great shape. And she went in there and kind of looks. She actually shows some type of memories of her childhood when she was a little girl, with her mom being sick and actually committing suicide also. So I mean, one thing I wish they could have done on, and maybe we'll see later on, is that they could have maybe expanded that a little bit more with Rose and her situation with her mom. They really didn't get into that when I was watching it.
Hmm.
So it was something that maybe I was while I was watching, it's like they didn't really get into as much. And it's like I wish they could have went into that part of it. But there were more, of course, getting into the part of her with this curse. I guess you could say a curse of this thing that has this weird smile is coming to get her, but we haven't even seen this thing at all through the whole movie. We haven't seen anything. We just saw weird glimpses of things, saw some scary parts, people's skins coming off their faces and stuff like that. So it was kind of really freaky, but we really don't even know what this thing is.
No, we never do find out exactly what it is. We just know
No,
that it's haunting people, like and Rose, and then things really do get freaky at the house.
it does. It really does. It really got getting really crazy at that part where she was actually in the dark. And that's one thing about some of these scenes they had on here. It's like you can just tell the suspense when you're watching it in the dark, and she's with the lamp, and you can just see she's going into her mom's room, and then sees her mom, and then her mom comes out and looking kind of crazy and looked like a big old monster in front of her and kind of freaking her out. She's running back, and this monster gets bigger and bigger and larger in front of her. It's like, what the heck is going on? And then we find out that Rose was able to find some type of fire because the fire went out, or the fire started because she fell, and she was able to hit this big old monster that looks like Rose's mom in the face, and then started burning and running away. And the thing was like saying her name, Rose, 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 burning. She runs out, and the house burns down. So it looks like from what we saw there, it looks like Rose saved the day, and she actually is the curse is kind of lifted.
Right, but then we find out that the house didn't burn down. That was
Exactly.
just another hallucination.
It was a big hallucination. That
And
when
that's
watching the
when,
movie,
go ahead.
that got me. That got me the most of the whole movie. I was really rooting for Rose through the whole movie to find some way to get out of this situation of this curse. And I thought she had it, but when she goes back to her ex boyfriend and apologizes and everything, and kind of says, "Can we get back together?" And then he comes out with that freaky, "Yeah, we can come back together for the rest of our lives."
Yep, yep. Another
And
hallucination.
the hallucination with the smile, the little gaggle, and all that with the smile, and you can see he was wearing bright. Also, that's one thing you notice. All the smile people they was wearing all bright. It's always bright, and he was wearing like white kind of clothes too. And then you could just see her like scared, and then he was just standing there. He was not moving, but you could see the camera moving and everything, and then all of a sudden that like 1 second glimpse when you see him pause, and then he comes right at you and surprised and runs after her, and then finds out that she's still at her mom's house, all of that, and she finds out she was running out, and then find out in real life that we find see um, Joel, the ex-boyfriend, I guess followed. I'm not follower, but I think maybe tracked her because he's a cop. Tracked her off of the phone that she had on, because he did call her, and the phone was in her car, so he was able to track her and found and run into the house. And we get to something that comes up in that situation where she was in that house again, and then all of a sudden that big old monster that looks like Rose's mom peels off peels off the face, and we see, I think this is the first time in the whole movie we see the entity or this creature that has so many like smiles and teeth and everything on the face. I think there was no name for the thing. I don't know what it was called, but had all this face smiles over it. It was extremely freaky. And then she just paused. Rose just, it's almost like she got like laryngitis, where she was screaming, and all of a sudden she couldn't scream anymore. And then we see this really weird freaking thing opens her mouth as big as day, and I guess puts his, whatever this thing is, in her mouth. And then we get back to reality and sees her almost just like Laura, same situation, just like Laura, standing there with a gas and everything poured over her body, with that freaking smile on her face. And Joel's standing there looking at this happen, and then gets a lighter, and what happens, we see that she burns herself, just like not like Laura did. Laura cut her face, but Rose actually turned and burned herself down, and Joel witnessed it. So seeing that, of course, the movie ends, and we find out that it has to be a part two because of Joel witnessing this happen to Rose, which means the curse will continue in Joel. And then it comes out with the music, lollipop music. So I I really enjoyed rewatching this and watching it in the theaters, and that's why I picked this one for the horror rewatch for this month, because I really enjoyed it. It really made me jump a couple of times. It was unique. That's one thing. Sometimes we don't see a lot of horror movies in the past. We don't see somewhat unique type of suspense movie and horror movie, and this one really played its part, and I really enjoyed watching it. And I'm hoping when you watched it, Richard, I hope you enjoyed it also.
No, I did like it, but I hope there's not a. I kind of like the way it ended. That, like, I guess it. You. I was going to ask you if you knew for certain if Joel got it. I mean, I guess he would have, but still, I like the ending. It would have been better with the ending where you thought, okay, did he get it or didn't he, and not have a prequel, just or not have a don't not have a not prequel, but a part two. Just let you think about it for a while.
Right, right, right. But I
Because
believe
even if
it's a
there is
part
a
two.
part two, I don't think it'll start off with Joel. I think it'll just start with something else and maybe go backtrack to Joel. But I don't think it'll be about Joel if there was a second part.
No, I'm
But
hoping
I think it ended the
the
way it was
creature.
supposed to. I mean, you never know if it made so much. If it made some money, it might get redone. But to me, it was good the way it ended, and what made you think for his 3 seconds. Okay, did he get it or didn't he get it? Because he did watch Rose kill herself with the gasoline, trying to wonder where she got the gasoline. She must have brought it without knowing it, because why would she have a can of gasoline in an old house?
I think I mean I know it was a dream part, but maybe part of it was reality. Is that she did use some of that to light the little uh, lantern that she had.
Yeah, but you don't use gasoline for that.
I know exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
that would have. I'm not. I mean, you could use gasoline, but it's a wonder she didn't blow herself up, because if gasoline doesn't catch on fire, the fumes do.
Right. Yeah.
So when she goes to light that lamp, if the fumes are enough, she just, could just, it's not safe like it would. Well, nothing like that safe, but you get the different kind of oil lamp fuel that you're supposed to use with it, and then you have that wick that you catch on fire too.
Oh, yeah.
But gasoline, I guess you could use it, but gasoline is not something you want to have in
No,
clothes like that. But unless you thought, but I guess you're right. That could be her reasoning. Maybe she thought it. Maybe she didn't know any better.
no, maybe she didn't. I mean,
But she was darn lucky that that gasoline did not explode on her, because just because it's in that container doesn't mean the fumes are not in the air. And so, she lights it and that fumes catch on, then it blows up the lamp and she
oh
blows up.
wow.
So
Yeah.
then she could have died right there. But then maybe I'm being too nitpicky. I don't know. I know it's a horror film, but sometimes I get too. Then again, it's about a supernatural being. So how can I get so nitpicky about that? Well, how an ending? So you have to just go with the flow. But But I guess it would have been better if it would have left you guessing. If brother, I guess you can still be guessing because if she killed herself, so I guess like you said, Joel got it. But it's be interesting if it would have ended where we weren't sure. That way we'd be something to think about for a few days. Like I don't know, but now it seems like now he's got it, and so we'll see what happens. Maybe if there is one.
I
But
believe there is. I think I saw some research on it. I believe they are creating it, and I believe it might be next year in 2024, around this time next year in October. That's that's why I believe that's the schedule that their idea schedule they're going to have is 2024
yeah,
for Smile 2.
It'll be a year from now.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
almost a year. I mean, it's the 18th.
Yep. So
So, I mean, I guess they can go ahead now that all the strikes are done. I guess now they can start filming it.
exactly. Yep.
But
And I'm thinking they might
I
hold the
guess we'll
origin
find out.
of the creature.
What's that again, Jay?
The creature. I think one thing they might in the sequel, which I hope they do, is they get maybe more history of the creature that at the end when we saw it come and go into her mouth, and maybe we'll get some type of origin of how that why and how that happens. So that could be part of the idea. Which I'm just thinking out the box. I mean, I don't have no rights to the movie or anything like that, but it's just an idea that I have that might be the case. Is that they might go into showing the period of time of this creature, whatever it's called, and see the origin, because they mentioned that this chain of situations been going on for a long time. It's not just recent. It's like been going on a long time. So there's a history, and that really makes you want to watch a part two.
Well, I hope that they do that. It'd
Yeah,
be
me
cool.
too. Looking forward to it.
So, I guess we'll find out next year, and we can do a live. I mean, we can do it right after when it releases.
Yeah,
So it'll be October again, and we'll just say, we're this week we're going to be doing Smile 2 because it just came out. It'll be fresh.
exactly. I would love that. I would really love that to kind of go back and reminisce on what we're doing right here and reminisce and see and talk about the sequel. So it'll be really good.
Yeah, and see how it compares to the first one, because sometimes that
Exactly.
sequel is just something you want to watch.
True. True.
But maybe we'll see. I mean, but I so I guess they're writing it now. Then do you know, Jay? Or they are? I mean, what's
There might be. There might be the writer, which is I think you did mention the director and the writer, Parker Finn. He might be creating. He might be already creating something in the works on the sequel. So, because he directed this one and he also written it also, and also he did the the little mini movie short film, I should say. He did that one also. He written it and directed that one also.
Yeah, and I hope they don't give them a bigger budget where it just gets all messed up. Because sometimes you give them a big budget and it just messes everything up because they want to get fancy with it, and it's
Yeah, makes it not believable. Yeah, I hope.
or it just
I hope.
ruins it because they rely on too many CGI stuff. And I mean, I like the way that didn't use well known actors either. I mean, we don't want to get a big budget, and the next thing you know, we have all these A-listers, and it's like, oh my god, this thing is not the same. It's not a small budget thing trying to get off the ground. It's now we got these big actors that are really okay, but it seems like it could lose its feeling.
Right.
Not saying it won't be any good. We'll find out when the sequel comes out, and I just hope that it's a winner. And
I'm
plus, doing
definitely
a little bit of an origin thing would be kind of cool, Jay.
Yeah. Yep.
They could
Yep.
call it "Smile the Beginning."
Yeah, they might have some type of gimmick title for it or something like that, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
But overall, I really, like I said earlier, I did really enjoy this, and I'm hoping us sharing parts and bits and everything to everyone enjoyed it, and hopefully they can share their comments. Maybe later on they can share their comments on it and give us what they feel. And I know Richard mentioned our email and everything, so that'll be great if you can do the emailing us or send comments here. That'll be really great.
Yeah, you comment on the YouTube channel. Yeah,
Also,
I'll do that also. And while you're leaving your comment, don't forget to subscribe.
1%.
So always subscribe. But this is a movie where you could add it to your future Halloween watch list, along with the other goodies that you watch in every Halloween if you have favorites. But you could add this to it. It's a pretty good film.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's one thing I was hoping, putting this one as a rewatch on our October listing. I mean, it'll be an enjoyable watch and seeing how you enjoy it, good or bad. I mean, that's the whole thing about this, is to share your opinions on it, good or bad, and share what you think, which is good, and it helps people want to see the movie or not.
Right. But for the most part, it was pretty decent. I mean, I liked it. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it's something that I could probably watch next Halloween if I get in the mood. I don't know if I'll watch it in between. I don't know if I'll give it a second look until then, but
Uh-huh.
it was well done and well thought out. And the ending was, like you said, left you hanging because now you don't know what's going to happen to Joel now that he has it.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's why I think we're not just going to take off with Joel, because that seems too obvious. And I don't know if that character could. I just think maybe you're right about the origin thing. Or we
yeah,
catch up with someone else that has it. Someone else that has it, and then Joel is just maybe a flashback or not
yeah.
mentioned again.
Put that way too.
Or not mentioned again. They just just start off with somebody else and they find out the origin.
Right.
It's hard
And
to
we
tell.
do
There's
still
so
have
many
our sister
directions.
too.
Yeah, there's so many directions they could go. But yeah, I think that Halloween, and if you watch a bunch of movies, you might as well squeeze this in. I think you'd like it. I know it's been out for a long time, and you may have already seen it. But if you've been wondering about it, yeah, give it a whirl. I don't think it lasts that. It's not that real long of a movie either, so it shouldn't take you long to get through. But yeah,
Right.
it's something. It's a I think people will like it. It's a curse. I mean, I guess it's a curse compared to like The Ring.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's not like The Ring, but it's a curse. Like The Ring was a curse. So.
Yeah, that was a curse. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so, and so, and I know that you liked it since you recommended it.
yep, yep.
So next week,
Rose did great. Rose did great. Sozie Bacon, she did an amazing job in this movie.
right? So Sozi means twin, and I
Sozie meets
looked.
Queen.
Yep, and I looked it up, and she doesn't have a twin, so I don't know why why they named her Sozi. But according to the dictionary, it means twin. So I thought maybe she had a twin because her name
Huh.
was Sozi, but she has an older brother, and that's all I could find. I didn't see anything else, but I never seen that. I never seen a name like that before, Sozi. I didn't.
Me neither.
So
Me
that's why I
neither.
looked it up to see, okay, what does that thing mean? Plus, I want to make sure I pronounced it right too. So, well, you never know.
Right,
The way
right,
a name that you see for the first time, you don't know how to pronounce it.
right. That's true.
I mean, for all you know, it could be spelled that way and still be pronounced Susie. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you never know. Well, we're going to name her Susie, but we'll spell it the stupid way, But according to the dictionary, it's pronounced Sozy. Maybe they do call her Susie. I haven't heard her. I haven't seen an interview where they actually talked to her. I guess I should have done that. But anyway, next week, join us next Sunday where we will be doing Saw, the first one, and our buddy Big Dog is going to be doing that one, as far as we know. If
Okay.
not, so we'll be doing that movie, and that should be another good one because that one is pretty. When that one came out, that was pretty, you know, on top of things. A different
Yeah,
way to go with all the grotesque and stuff. I mean, it was a different way to another breakthrough for horror, or at least grossness,
yeah, yeah. It was.
and
I'm
introduced us
looking
to
forward to that.
another iconic horror villain. You know.
Yes, he sure had. We were sure did.
So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this rewatch or review of Smile,
Yes.
and let us know. So
And once again,
until
thanks, Lord Cat.
yep, yep. So with that being said, we will catch you next Sunday at 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific.